In August of 1925, Mathew and Mary would sell the home on Edward Street. Mathew is shown here in front of the house on Mill Street on Block 26. Mathew and Mary would eventually own all Block 25 and 26. From this sketch we have here that Mathew made, we can see that amounted to approximately 4.4 acres. Blocks 25 and 26 are just west of Mill Street, the south end of Newcastle. It's situated where the eastbound ramp leads to the 401. On Matthew Brown's hand-drawn sketch of the lots, the approximate location of the house in 1925 has been added. In 1922, Mathew and Mary would buy all 10 lots of Lot 26 off of Thomas Montague. Thomas Montague was a Newcastle boy who went on to become quite successful in the railway and mining industry in the United States. Thomas would have been well known to Mathew and Mary. Mary was an avid member of the Horticultural Society, as was Thomas, and they were all members of the St Georges Church in Newcastle. Approximately 1929, Mathew and Mary would buy a lot off of Clara Elizabeth Howard in Block 25. Clara Elizabeth Howard and her husband, Rev Scott Howard, were also acquaintances of Mathew and Mary's through the Horticultural Society, and Rev Howard was rector of St George's up until 1912. Mathew and Mary bought the remaining lots on Block 25 in 1927. They now owned all of Block 25 and Block 26. Likely one of the earliest photographs we have of Mathew and Mary in their new home on Mill Street shows Mary looking north into town. Here's a picture of Tom on the house in Mill Street when Tom's approximately 18. In this picture of Mary, we see her proudly holding the Massey cup with Clara Ashley. Clara Ashley was the granddaughter of Charles and Hannah Gome, whom the Browns bought their first house on Edward Street off of. Clara was also the niece of Walter and Ada Crowther, very good friends of the Browns. Here are several more pictures of the new home on Mill Street before Mathew done some renovations. In this photo, we see Mary walking south on Mill Street. Just over Mary's shoulder, you can see the Montague home, which is now the Newcastle Funeral Home. From the collection of pictures we have of Mathew and Mary's, we can see that besides being a caretaker at the school, working for the CPR, Mathew stayed very busy renovating his homes. In these before and after pictures of the house on Mill Street, we can see how Mathew has raised the home, added a porch. Looks like he's put new siding and new trim on the house. Several more photos of the house after renovations. In this photo taken at Mill Street, we can see the Newcastle Public School in the background. Among other places in the village where Mary looked after the flowers, she took care of the flowers in front of the public school. These photos seem to illustrate to me how proud Mathew and Mary were of their new home on Mill Street.